Good morning, everyone. Is it morning? Yes, okay. So today I want to share my journey of public speaking, of professional speaking. And this speech is dedicated to everyone and anyone here who is starting their speaking journey. So we have, of course, people like Vinay and Kiruba tell you how to expand your business, right? I want to tell you how to start your journey and the power of saying yes to all the opportunities that come your way when it comes to professional speaking. Earlier this year, I attended the Malaysian Association of Professional Speakers Unstoppable Convention. Some of you here have attended it. Nice to see you all here. And this was something that they showed that really caught my eye. They defined professional speakers as people who are either already in the business of speaking or training professionally, or amongst those who are interested and aspire to do so. So this topic here today is for those who are interested and aspire to be professional speakers. And something else that I noticed here is, I think even Afif said in the beginning, professional speaking is not just coming here on stage and giving a speech, but there's so many avenues to it. Like it says here, keynote speakers, consultants, trainers, educators, etc. So I want to take you on my journey of professional speaking in 3 avenues that I have been exploring for the last few years. I do professional speaking when it comes to trainings, voiceovers, and public speaking in different public platforms. So this is how I used my voice to create an impact, and how I started where I was a few years ago with almost nothing but the resources that I had, and the magical word, the power of saying yes. The first journey I want to take you through is how I began professional speaking in terms of training. My training journey actually started with Afif back in Lux South Ariatol, and this was a story that even Afif didn't know until very recently. But in one of the trainings, Afif had given me a clipboard with the names of all the attendees of the training, and he told me, Maisha, go up to the front of the class and ask everyone, did they sign the attendance? And then Afif walks out, to have his usual ginger tea before the training. So it's just me at the back of the classroom and about 25 or 30 people, all managers and supervisors who at the time were very intimidating to me. I was very new. And I'm standing in the back of the classroom, panting, I'm running out of breath. I'm shaky, my palms are sweaty. And under my breath, I practiced the phrase, have you signed the attendance sheet? I mean, that's not a speech, but I practiced that phrase so many times. I go up to the front of the class, and what do I say? Absolutely nothing. I take the clipboard, I point it at everyone, I just do this. And I walk away. Of course, they got the message. But, after that, for hours, I kept thinking back on how much of a missed opportunity that was for me. I could have used that moment to build a connection with the people in the room, maybe make a joke, maybe, get to know them a little bit. There was a good window of time there for me to get to know them. But I completely missed that opportunity. But had I said yes and gone and just started speaking, even if I failed, like Shah said, she ended up crying, and these people remember that. So, it was a moment that I had completely missed. So I made a commitment that day for the next following weeks, to work on trying to talk in front of people, to not be afraid, to own the stage, to at least go in front of a classroom of at least 5 people and be able to say something. So I was very introverted. I was never able to speak like this before. So in that week, I made a commitment, and I started observing how people were speaking to other people. I started observing the way Afif was delivering trainings. I started watching TED Talks and going on different forums and websites and videos and seeing the way people use their body language, their voice, their tones. And this was a way where I started. So it was all up to me. I mean, no one was going to come and say, Maisha, you did this, you didn't ask them to sign. No one said that to me, but I recognized that mistake. And I started to learn and observe people. And today, I am able to go in front of hundreds of people, government organizations, NGOs, SOEs, schools, and in front of hundreds of people, I'm very comfortable. In fact, I'm excited to speak in front of people. This is something that really stuck with me throughout my speaking career, because it didn't matter the mistake that I made, since I had a lesson that came out of it and learned from it. But this would not have happened. All of this would never have happened if that day, 6-7 years back, I just gave up. Or if for the first time when I went up to a classroom and spoke, I said, okay, I did it, this is it. It was all about that consistency. So for me, one of the main things or the main lessons that I learned from this experience in training side is that consistency is what built my confidence. Because if I just stop with one great experience, I don't think I'll reach that level of excellence that we desire, right? So that consistency is what built my confidence to come and deliver speeches like this. And I think for starters, or for those who are beginning, I've actually had someone tell me, in fact yesterday, that they were not confident to, or they were feeling a little anxious to come and attend this event. But today, that person is actually here in the audience. So this is taking a first step to build that confidence. And you know what he told me after the break? Hey, I actually went and spoke to some people. So I was very, very proud of him for that. So give him a round of applause. Another thing that I have been exploring is voiceovers. So professional speaking, my second avenue is voiceovers. And I have been doing voiceovers for a few years now. And you know, my father is sitting here right front and center. I think you all would know his voice. Is there anyone who doesn't know his voice? The golden voice of Maldives. I mean, you would have heard, for those who are coming from abroad, he has been the voice of Maldives for years now. You would hear it on, everything. So voiceovers was something that I started with the guidance and mentorship of my father, obviously guiding me. But when I started, it's not like we had a professional studio in the house. It's not like we had professional equipment in the house. Of course, he had a media, broadcasting studio. But when I started, all I had was this pair of headphones. In fact, I have it right now with me in my bag. I carry it everywhere in case I have to record something. So all these announcements that you heard, all the ads and HPA announcements that you heard during the COVID lockdown, that was made from that pair of headphones on my bed, not a professional studio. So, thank you. So it didn't require a fancy setup or expensive equipment to just start. And starting was the first step. And through that, I learned quite a lot. And my point here is that today I have my own registered voiceover business, Voiceovers by Maisha Asif, and I've been running this business for 2 years. And this is a very proud moment for me to have regular clients who come to me and ask for voiceovers. My father would say, it's too expensive, the prices you're charging. But, it's a business that I run. And my husband Zayan over here is actually one of my employees. He's the audio engineer, so I don't know if anyone else has to pay a monthly salary to their husband, but unfortunately I have to do that. But I didn't get here by, just randomly creating a business out of thin air. It did start with that pair of earphones. And it actually started with a resource that I had on hand, which all of you have on your hand, which is what? A mobile phone. And does anyone know TikTok? Of course, right? Everyone knows TikTok. Everyone's probably on TikTok. So I made a TikTok for fun. I didn't mean to post it anywhere. And I sent it to my family group. And my father actually ended up posting it on Facebook. And overnight, it went viral. It got about 50,000 views, I think, in one night. And today it has probably 1 million, I don't know. But that TikTok kind of skyrocketed my speaking career. Within 40 seconds, I managed to book about 10 gigs within that week itself. So, so let me show you the TikTok that made it all happen.
This is the Commercial Voiceover Challenge, starting now.
They say that great things take time. Luckily, that time is now. Evolve your dream with the fully electric Hyundai Ioniq 5. Nothing delivers a smile like McDonald's Happy Meal. And now, for a limited time, $1 from each Happy Meal sold will be donated to a child in need. When you book a vacation with Booking.com, life gets a whole lot simpler. While we're busy finding you the best deals on flights, hotels, and car rentals, you can be busy preparing to do nothing. Booking.com.
Thank you. Yeah. So that was what started all of that with my voiceover business. And as you can see, that's simply the headphone, and you can see my bed in the background, so it's not a studio. It's just me and my headphone. And today I see people who are part of MAPSA even posting videos, TikToks of giving little speeches and inspirational quotes and moments, and I think that's a really great thing to add value to our speaking community and our society as a whole. So for those who are doing that active, I see some of you right here, so give themselves a round of applause. Give them a round of applause. So my lesson from doing this is, even though today I have my professional equipment and my employee over here, it was just with a pair of headphones that started it all. And it was also with, of course, my guide, my father, being there to guide me throughout this experience. But what I want to say is, the message to beginner speakers is that resourcefulness outweighs your resources. Meaning it's not about having the fanciest equipment or the most expensive things to start. When I started, or when I gave my first speech, I felt like I did not have the right resources to give a speech. Actually, this year at the National HR Conference, I was asked to speak. It was a pretty successful speech, luckily, but I felt intimidated because I felt like, okay, the entire audience is hundreds of HR directors, veteran speakers, people who've been in the industry for a really, really long time. So what did I have to contribute to this? What I found is that as speakers, our main resource, our main tool is our passion to speak and our willingness to put a message out there. So it just requires for us to start and make that first step. And that brings me to my third experience in professional speaking, which is going out on public platforms and speaking, whether it be emceeing an event, hosting something as small as a game night, or something as big as hosting a national award. This year I attended Professional Speakers Association of India's PSS 2024 Summit, which was amazing, by the way, and I think the next summit sign-up is already open, so you guys should sign up for sure. Vinay is here. And I also attended the Malaysian Professional Speakers MAP Summit as well. Now, something that I learned as a beginner, for beginner speakers to take away from this is, all of these speakers here had a lot of information to share. And even within these 2 days, you're going to have about 20 or so speeches that you're going to listen to. And over these last few summits that I've attended, or the last few years where I've attended conferences and events and seminars, hundreds of speeches, hundreds of speakers, hundreds of messages. But there's always about 5 or so that I very vividly remember. And there's a reason for that. What do you think is the reason? Exactly, thank you, yes. The art of storytelling. Stories is what makes us remember. And when I gave a speech this year earlier, even up to this day when I go and train somewhere, people say, hey, where's that coconut guy now? So, I get this question a lot, and people have somehow branded me as the coconut story trainer. So, this has become a thing now, but my point is that it's still something that people remember. So, for those of you who missed out on this amazing speech, go on YouTube, it's there. My dad uploaded that also. He's very proud of it. So, my point is that storytelling is universal. Meaning skill sets can differ, the backgrounds that people come from differ, even within this room, educational background, your career background, that could be different. And maybe not everything is relatable to everyone, but a story sticks. When a speaker shares a story, it touches your heart, it plays with your feelings, and there will always be a part of it that you can relate to. There's 3 things that I shared right now on this stage today which is speaking in terms of training, voiceovers, and public speaking. And within all of these 3 stories that I shared here today, there would be at least one where you can maybe relate to, and I'm sure of that. So storytelling is something that will definitely stick with your audience. So if you are a beginner speaker and you feel like you don't have much experience to share, that's okay. Because why? You had a life, right? So having a life means you have had stories. One of the best parts about failing at something is you get a great story out of it. So there is something that you can share always. So my key 3 takeaways is that consistency builds confidence, resourcefulness will always outweigh resources, and storytelling is universal. And I believe that everyone here can, next year at the MAPSA next event, get on stage and give a speech with all the knowledge that you're gaining here today. Because I started with a clipboard, a pair of headphones, and this magical word, yes. So my call of action before I get off the stage is, when you step out of this auditorium hall today, or tomorrow after the event ends, say this word yes to something that frightens you when it comes to using your voice. Maybe someone wants to connect with you and say, hey, can I give you a call? I want to talk to you about a training. What do you say? Yes. Now if they say, hey, I have a podcast. Would you like to come on and be part of my podcast? Yes. Now for this next one, I want you all to stand up and say yes together when I ask the question. And after saying yes, give a huge round of applause, okay? My question is, will you start today to try and get on the stage for next year's MAPSA Summit? Yes. Give a huge round of applause. Can we say yes again and give a huge round of applause? Yes. Okay, you can sit. Thank you for the standing ovation. That's why I brought you here. You have to use some tricks sometimes. So that is my main message to the beginner speakers. I'm keeping this short and sweet because I don't want to bombard with a lot of technical things. I just want to get this message out to all the people who are beginning in the speaking field. And I think it's great that you've taken a step to be here today. And hopefully, we will see you in the next MAPSA growth events and monthly events, and develop yourself as speakers, and hopefully see you on this stage as well. So 3 very short and sweet messages for you, and I hope that adds a little bit of value to you by sharing my journey, and I hope that relates to you to unleash your true potential in becoming a professional speaker. Thank you. Stay connected. Thank you, guys.